Afternoon, boys. I'm a bit late. I was in the gym working out. I might come back for one of these silly fights these boys are doing.
Well, this is the thing. Off the back of this, am I right in thinking that you've now labelled Jake Paul the second most popular fighter in the world behind Floyd Mayweather?
You go on social media, behind Floyd Mayweather, the second most popular fighter in the world, above Canelo Alvarez, Tyson Fury, all of these boys. He is the most popular one on social media, on Instagram. Can you believe that? So what message does that send out to fighters? Fighters now, we've got to move with the times. Gone are the days where you've got to depend on your promoter, you've got to depend on your manager to promote you, to make you a household name. These YouTubers that actually can't fight as good as guys that have done it since 5 years old are getting world-class money, world-class attention, world-class. Everybody knows who they are. And yes, the authenticity, the true depth of talent is being lost in the clouds of fame, because who are you talking about? You're talking about Jake Paul and Tommy Fury. Even though you had a world title cruiserweight fight on the undercard, Floyd Mayweather boxed at the O2 in England the night before. Who's talking about it? Does that not say all?
It does, doesn't it? I mean, Spencer, YouTubers are here, they're in the ring, and you darn better believe they're in the ring, and they're not leaving anytime soon.
Absolutely not. They've recognised another way to earn money, and they're here to stay. There's no getting away from that. And Johnny's right in what he says. I think Jake Paul brings huge eyeballs to the sport of boxing. He's been doing it now for say 5 years. He's worked his backside off, to be fair to him. And he's put himself in this position. Entertainment value the other last week was, for me, it was brilliant. The whole build-up was brilliant. John Fury, for me, was a star of the week. He was getting involved with it all. And it was, it was what it was. You're talking about, I think the boxers obviously get upset because it's not world-class standard. It's a very novice standard. But the guys are not saying anything.
It's snobbery, Spenny.
Absolutely.
It's boxing snobbery, Spenny. It's boxing snobbery, and that's where the problem is. And we've got to get our head in the right place, otherwise we're going to be left in the Stone Age.
But I think what it is for the boxers themselves. I think it's a wake up call to say to the boxers, you need to start marketing yourselves well and putting yourselves out there, because, like it or not, social media plays a huge part of the world that we live in today, and that has been proven by these kids that are YouTubers turned boxers doing what they're doing.
So, Simon, the YouTubers in the ring are getting the thumbs up from these two, Johnny Nelson and Spencer Oliver, two ex-quality boxers.
Yeah, I mean, don't forget the O2 was empty, with Mayweather. So let's not lose sight of the actual audience.
But Mayweather's another thing. I think that ship sailed, by the way.
But let's be clear what Johnny is absolutely saying. I wouldn't say they're the most popular fighters. I'd say they're the most engaged with. Jake Paul is an engaged with person. The digital world is a joined up world, which the boxing promoters and the boxing landscape has got to embrace. If you look at the media world, the next barons of media are not coming out of newspapers. They're coming out of the digital space. And what Jake Paul has done is being able to monetize that. The next generation of promoter, the guys that are plugged into where the world's going, are going to be able to monetize their fighters far better. There does need to be an element of classism in boxing at times to be able to disseminate between what is a real fight and what is a YouTube fight. Sure. But the bottom line is you also have to look at it and go, Jake Paul right now, unbelievably, is a kingmaker. And you've got to look at that and say, how are these guys out there that are supposed kingmakers, Eddie Hearn, Bob Arum, Shelley Finkel, all these guys, they're going to have to wake up and smell the coffee, because that coffee is going to go cold on their watch, and they're going to see other opportunities being taken away. Then you're going to start to see fighters not needing promoters. Then you're going to start to see what Deontay Wilder's done, which is basically, I'll be a free agent, thanks very much, I'll do my own TV deals. So unless they evolve and start thinking about that communication methodology, the digital space, not just social media, but digital full stop. And that's what Jake Paul's mastered. And he's mastered it by being an emperor's new clothes. He's mastered it by being something that he isn't.
Simon, I get all that. But Spencer, but Johnny, the sport's all about quality.
Yeah.
And we're not getting much quality here.
No, but it's a different market. It's a different market, to be fair.
Is that not true,
they're
Johnny?
not claiming to
That's
be world title material.
Well, he is. If Jake Paul had beaten Tommy Fury, he'd have got in the rankings.
Yeah, no, but that's the WBC. I mean, that's the WBC. I don't know where they were going with that, by the way. That's because they wanted their involvement in it. But the WBC, Mauricio Suleiman equally is having a bad time at the moment. They're making terrible decisions by putting someone in the top 40 of the rankings. When you're looking at some of the quality kids that are boxing at the York Hall on non-TV shows, and these look like Midland area titles, Southern area titles, you see them kids and you go, that's a level, Johnny, that these guys are not at yet.
Johnny, there's a drop in quality.
Jim, without a doubt, and this is where the uproar is, you have a depth of true talent. You go back to the days of Sugar Ray Robinson, Sugar Ray Leonard. You go back to fighters that can fight, that can box. And these guys would be turning in their grave, fighters of old, be thinking, what is going on here? The true depth and talent is being lost in the clouds of fame. So all of a sudden, all these kids that are popular, all these kids that are getting the numbers, they've got their depth in talent is minimal. So now what's the problem? The problem is it's boxing snobbery. You're thinking, you know what, why are you guys getting all this attention? When I boxed since the age of 5, and the message to the fighters is this: you will get that if you now understand you don't have to go through A, B, and C, D to speak to you. Let people see who you are. Get your brother or sister to follow you around with a little camera. Do a little snippets. Get people to engage into the individual are. That way you get the fan base following you, getting engaged with you. Instead of doing it through this manager, through that promoter. Now it's the new age. So the people who should worry are the managers and the promoters, because the young fighters are coming up. They're thinking, you know what? I want to be as popular as these guys with talent. So can you imagine somebody that's got all the talent in the world but has the numbers, the attraction that Jake Paul has? And this is where the problem is. The problem is fighters are thinking, what is going on here? I'm better than him. Why is he getting paid more than me? Why does everybody know who he is walking down the street? Why are families coming with packed lunches the second the doors open 6 o'clock to sit down and wait for me to arrive? Because these boys have shown the business side of who they are, and that's what we can do as fighters. Wow,
Johnny, great to speak to you. Listen, you're in the gym. Are we seeing you in the ring again soon, Mr. Nelson?
No, I'm sorry. That was a joke. That's never gonna happen. I ain't doing that. That's stupid. That's never. Carl Potts phoned me up and he said, "Have you seen what idiot's being saying?" I said, "I know, Carl. He'll stay in his lane. He's just talk. Don't get involved. You know what Carl's like. He takes a lot of things serious. So undercover, Carl starts to train just in case Jake Paul actually believes he's going to do him. So there's no way Carl's getting it done by Jake Paul."
Jim White and Simon Jordan. Monday to Friday mornings from 10 on AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.